The world is changing. The climate is at a tipping point. What can we do to make a difference? Join Ken the Climate Activist podcast, where we discuss solutions, inspire action, and bring together change makers from around the globe. Subscribe now and be part of the change. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your favorite host here, Ken Joel, and you're welcome to the NCA podcast. Today is our very second episode titled The Role of Women in Climate Action. And I have with me in the studio a very, very strong lady, all the way from Nigeria. She goes by the name Oluwatoni Ono. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
So, can you tell us who Oluwatoni Ono is?
Thank you very much. My name is Oluwatoni Afinjuomo. I hold a master's degree in climate change policy from the Pan African University, Algeria. I am an ambassador with ICARE Sustainable International, and currently I'm on a fellowship program with Greenleaf Fellowship for the African Climate Leaders Fellowship Program. I am excited to be here today to discuss the roles of women in climate change action plans. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's really, really interesting. Looks like you have a lot going on for yourself. So, can you tell me why it is important to include women in climate change discussions and decision making?
Yes, I would say it's important because women bear the brunt when it comes to climate issues. I would say women, especially in the low income and middle income countries,
Mm-hmm.
they are the ones that face climate issues more. And in sense that they cater for their family, they are the ones at home looking for water from the stream, looking for firewood, looking for things to feed their family with. So they are the ones that understand how climate issues has been in their local communities. I'm talking more about the local communities because they are more marginalized than the urban settlement.
Okay.
So I will say that it is important to involve them in climate action plans and decisions because they are the ones that understand what they face in their local community. So their insight is very important when it comes to actions that can be implemented towards mitigating or developing adaptive strategies to climate issues.
But don't you think that the men are also affected because in some communities, like you mentioned, that women do fetch water, but I think that was years or decades ago. Like, is it still the same system that is going on in these remote areas? Because I had a discussion one time with a friend of mine and um, about similar topics like this, and it's like not just about the fetching of water, which we know that it is common with women, but the fetching of firewood. Like men in some communities, they are the one who do the fetching of the firewood, not the women. So is it that the men are not also affected at all, or I don't know?
Well, I will say generally human beings are affected.
True, true.
Okay. But today's episode is about women.
Okay.
Yes. And also, yes, men fetch the firewood. That is a point. But women are the ones that take care of the home more, especially using water to cater for their family. They use water to cook, water to bathe, water to
Mm-hmm.
wash, water to do this. And most times, women are the ones that go looking for water in the communities. Also, we can see that some local women also have gardens where they plant different crops that they cannot afford to buy in the market. So these are the little things they can afford to cater for their family. So what happens when there is erosion, there is flood in that community and the crops are wiped out?
Mm-hmm.
So it's already taking a toll on the woman because a woman cannot bear to see her children go hungry. A man can still say, okay, um whatever I have I can give, but the woman can still go the extra length, to make sure that her children are fed. So these are the challenges that women faces when it comes to climate issues in the community. So it's important to bring them on board to uh provide solutions, give their insight when it comes to action plans. And today's episode is about women and it's not about me.
Okay, you're right, you're right. But I think that narrative of including women in today's paradigm and time is imperative. I think it's actually happening in different parts of the globe. Um, but how important is it in giving some decision-making roles to women in certain communities? What can you really say about that?
I would say it's important because women bring community-centered approaches. Women understand, women, we are more family-oriented. We have the ability to, keep a lot of people around us. We have that energy to foster change in whatever we are, put in charge with.
Mm-hmm.
So women that are in community, they understand how the community functions. So they bring up approaches like, okay, they understand the community resilience, the agricultural practices that is involved in that community, and the climate issues that they face. So they also have that ability to understand what goes on in the community. Also, women tend to teach their children values, especially their girls. So a woman that understands that okay, climate issue is paramount and it's very important for us to find a solution to this. They can pass this knowledge to their daughters, to their children, like okay, these are the things that we can do in this family to limit climate issues. These are the kind of crops that we can plant that can, withstand drought. These are the ways, these are the time of the season that we can fetch water from the stream so that by the time the drought comes we are not in lack of water. So these are the key things that women tend to, foresee and understand because they have a different experience when it comes to climate issues than the men, because women are more emotional, so they bring that disposition towards climate issues, so they try to, prepare ahead that okay, by December there is no water, so we have to, fetch water to store in the home. So it's very important to, bring them on board because they understand a different dynamics to the exposure to climate issues.
So, what barriers do women face in accessing green jobs and leadership roles in sustainability?
Okay, I would say when it comes to green jobs, I would say that there is little trainings for women. However, well, from my recent discovery, I will say that women are now being brought on board because I see some applications that they will highlight that females are strongly advised to apply. So I will say that the barrier is still there, but is being managed now because women are being seen more than previous years. So I will also say that there is a bit of discrimination because there are some jobs that they will say is just for men, you know, when it comes to green jobs. So those are the two key things that I feel the discrimination and the little training capacities for women. So, but in the larger scale, I mean, on a larger platform, I would say that women are becoming more seen. They are more considered now when it comes to certain things, especially in climate actions. We have a lot of climate programs that women are spearheaded. So it's I will say that the bias is still there, but at least it's not too much like the previous years.
Yeah, the bias is still there, but I think comparing it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it has really changed significantly. And if we want to apply sustainable development goal, gender equality, I think for me personally, we are 70 to 75% of women accessing these green jobs
Mm-hmm.
because you see a lot of programs nowadays that are all about women empowerment. Yes,
Yeah.
they need to be empowered, their voices need to be heard.
Yes.
They shouldn't be shunned
Mm-hmm.
or stopped from airing out their views or their point in real life situations
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, when it comes to hazards or disasters, women are the most affected or
Yes.
vulnerable.
Mhm.
So I think we are moving towards a positive light, and little by little, things will get far more better. Probably 10 years from now, we will see women in the top echelon positions of society with
Yeah.
regarding green jobs and being part of the sustainable movement. So yeah,
Yeah.
I do agree with what you said, and yeah, Africa is getting better. We need women on board. We can't do without them. That is for
Yeah.
sure, because the collaboration between a man and a woman has to be intact. It has to be there for things to really really move. It's a teamwork. One can't do without the other, and it's for us to encourage and give them our full support.
Yes.
Uh,
I will also try to point the fact that women need to be more interested in
exactly.
in
Yeah.
taking climate change roles and being involved even in their household, in their rural communities, in private sectors and wherever they find themselves. They should be more interested in taking up climate action. They should not just leave it that it's the main thing, or as long as it doesn't directly affect them,
Yeah.
they are less concerned. Women should take up interest.
Yeah, you just made a very interesting point because, in as much as we want women to access these green jobs and be part of the sustainable movement, they also need to be interested.
Yes.
Because though I know for a fact that in those days women were not given the privilege or being accommodated to take part in certain activities out there,
Mm-hmm.
but now it is different. So I think the narrative should change a little bit, but the women still need to be interested,
Yes.
because if they are not interested, then we find ourselves that most of these green jobs are still being dominated by the men. And frankly speaking, it won't be the men's fault
Mm-hmm.
if they are still dominating these categories of jobs. If the women are not interested, if they find interest in other fields or other domains.
Yes.
So yeah. So can you tell me what roles does education play in equipping young girls to become future climate leaders?
Yeah, that is an interesting question because education is key to the formation of we human beings. uh, where we are today because of the knowledge we have through education.
True.
So I will say that education plays an important role in shaping the mind of young girls towards climate change. Education helps them to know what climate change is. And during a research I was conducting, some people don't even know what climate change is. They don't even know they don't even know what climate issues are.
Uh-huh.
So but through education, I mean climate change education
Education.
now,
Yeah.
they're able to understand that okay, when there is erosion, when there is flooding, is because of climate change issues. When there is drought, is climate
Or
change issue.
floods. Yeah.
Floods, climate change issues. When there is a wildfire, that is climate change issues.
Mm-hmm.
So through education, they'll be able to understand what climate change is. They're able to understand how to adapt and how to mitigate these issues when they
Mm-hmm.
come. They're able to understand their roles in the community, what they can do as individuals, what initiative they can come up with, to contribute to adaptation strategies for climate change issues. Now, I will use Nigeria as an example.
Okay.
um about few weeks back, there was a climate change action week in a state in Nigeria, and a lot of people attended the state and the climate week. They were able to get insights, dialogues, and different discussions which they'll be able to take out there, to teach people and as well as young girls. Now, another state in the eastern parts of Nigeria launched their climate change education manual. That was early this year, to incorporate climate change education into the curriculum of the school. So
Wow.
when young girls are being taught this, they'll be able to understand, okay, this is what is happening, this is what I can do to provide a solution. So climate change education is very, very important. And I think the world now is tending towards climate change education, climate change communication, because it's one thing to be educated and another to communicate that
Yeah, exactly.
education to people, because we have different languages. So it's important that we all come on board with our different skills and language skills to understand climate change in different languages, and we can communicate to even those children in rural communities that they don't understand English. Maybe they are from all their different languages. We can, translate this to them for them to understand what climate change is. So that is also climate change education. And I will say lastly that climate change education should not just be in the classroom alone. We should go beyond the classroom.
Like a practical field work.
Yes.
Yeah.
How does the social media, the
Okay.
TikTok, the Instagram influence their knowledge, their
Mm-hmm.
exposure to climate change issues? What influences their decisions more when they're making choices of what to eat, how they dress, what they wear, what they use? Is it eco-friendly?
Yeah.
So those are the things that we can take beyond the classroom and understand that okay, climate change education is not just in the walls of classroom, but beyond that, how does that social life also promote climate change education too?
Yeah. I think concerning climate change education being included in the curriculum in our educational system, I don't think in my country it is really taken seriously, because we really appreciate if climate change education should be a subject, like it should be a subject which is compulsory for everyone to take from secondary school. Because though in universities nowadays, a lot of universities now are now having programs like climate change,
Yeah,
environmental sciences, which are
yeah.
like interrelated. But I think it will be imperative to start at a very, very young age of these
Mm-hmm.
young stewards, like from the primary and secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
I think in some countries like mine, we are still getting there, and it will be of great joy to see that this initiative starts from the grassroots of their development, so that they should have a greater picture, so that by the time they get into the university, they are
Yes.
really, really um, they are really, really empowered,
Yeah.
like in terms of taking decisions, and why not, they'll be able to maneuver certain problems that may arise, and they'll
Yes.
be able to handle the problems comfortably
Mm-hmm.
with their professionalism and the education
Yes.
that they must have gotten from being at a very, very young age to where they are now probably in their 20s or late 20s or early 30s.
Yeah.
So climate education is imperative and needs to be included in the curriculum of our educational system, not just in the university level, but from the primary and the secondary school level as well.
Yes.
So, yeah. Can you share examples of women-led climate initiatives that have made a significant impact?
Yes, definitely. First of all, I will say we have the Women in Forestry, which is an initiative on training women and also promoting forestry among women, forestry advocacy. So that is also an initiative that encompasses women in forestry. And forestry relates to silviculture,
Mm-hmm.
trees, so those are the things. That is one of initiative that I'll talk about. Another initiative is the I Care Sustainable International, which the co-founder is a woman. So I was on a 6 month program with them, and during that program, my team leader is based in Cameroon. So we provided drums for waste management in some secondary schools in Cameroon.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yes, under that initiative. And lastly, I will say we have the Green Lead Fellowship, which I am also currently on the program, where the founder is a lady.
A lady still.
She's a lady. She's even a PhD student.
Wow. Okay.
So the fellowship, is also to groom young people, not just women now, not just
Okay.
ladies.
Both genders.
Yes, in
Okay.
climate actions, taking up climate leadership roles in Africa. So those are the initiative that I will say that they're doing so well, and they're also impacting lives, both female and males as well. But they are led by women.
Okay. Why only in Africa? Why not?
Well, Africa, we are the ones that bear the brunt of climate issues more.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we have the developed countries are the major emitters of
greenhouse gas emissions.
yes,
Yeah,
that contribute to climate issues. But we African countries are the one
we are
that,
not resilient enough.
yes,
Yeah,
so they are trying to create a grassroots let me say revival
revival. Yeah,
among people, especially the young ones, to be proactive and come
mm-hmm.
up with solutions that we can, mitigate these issues we're having and develop adaptive strategies. So that's why it's more like African things, just to make sure that African are not laid back. We know what is going on in our countries and we are taking proactive measures as well.
Yeah. It's been an interesting discussion between myself and Oluwatoni Ono. Sit tight, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. How can men and institutions become better allies in supporting women's leadership in climate action?
Okay, I will say that men can support women by creating more platforms for trainings. They also should create more opportunities for women to take up leadership roles. And I will also say that they can also give advices. For instance, a friend of mine reached out to me one time and she said she wants to work on her research and she doesn't know what to do. She's a master student, and I said, speak with your supervisor and let him provide an insight. So later on, she came to tell me that the professor said she should do anything that is related to climate change.
Mm-hmm.
So that is also a way to support women because the issue now is about climate change, climate change. So men should also encourage whoever they are in connection with, maybe their wives, their daughters, their partners, that okay, anything you are going to do, let it tend to solving climate issues
Mm-hmm.
because that is what we are all trying to, fight against and all of that. So the support is very important and should be premium. Whatever we are doing, wherever sector we find ourselves, and there are men in that sector, they should encourage women to take up actions, be innovative towards creating climate solutions. Also, I will say that men should also give ideas because we can't work in isolation. We can't just say I'm a woman, I'm going to do this on my own. It can also women can also ask their maybe their friends, their male
Mm-hmm.
friends, their husbands that okay, I want to do this, what do you think? What initiative can I come up with in creating this solution on renewable energy,
Mm-hmm.
on solar energy, on those kind of things. So there should be a synergy, you know.
I think so, yeah. But now the thing is, are women willing to take some of the advices that men may propose? Are they willing? Like, I think not all women are willing to listen to some men for reasons best known to them. Yeah. So I don't know what you can say about that. Are they willing to take the advice? Are they willing to to take some of the lessons from probably the men that maybe are already knowledgeable enough to or in their rightful positions to give them those advice and direction? Are they willing to?
Well, is dicey because it's 50-50.
Yeah, it's 50-50. Yeah, it's 50
But
50.
I will say that what you don't know, you don't know.
True.
And as a woman, it is a sign of strength to seek advice from men that are already, maybe doing well in the field or
Mm-hmm.
they have some expertise in, whatever you want to do. So it doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing, but it's even going to help you more to improve on yourself and the innovation that you want to bring out there. So I want to encourage women that women should try to seek advices from men in their circle that they trust because everything is about trust, so a woman can seek advices, support. Oh, I want to do this. Where, how can I get funds for this? How can I get grants for this? So those are the things that men can come in and say, okay, you can do this, you can do that. So I would want to encourage women to also try to work with men, ask for advice, ask for clarity,
Assistance.
assistance, towards promoting climate action plans. So the key word is support. Men should try to support women. There should be more initiative for capacity trainings for women, and also support like providing seedlings, drought resistant seeds,
Mm-hmm.
so adaptive strategies they can use in their communities as well to reduce climate effects on them. So there should be a synergy between men and women when it comes to climate action plans.
Okay. What advice would you give to young women who want to make a difference in the fight against climate change?
Okay, I will say that young girls should pick an interest in climate solutions. And also, young girls should be proactive. We should be proactive in what can we do, what solutions can we create to fight climate issues. We should also seek mentorship. uh, there are women that are doing so well in climate change space, so we can seek mentorship from them. We can enroll in program, take courses online. Yeah, young girls should take courses online on climate issues, climate solutions, and also we can also look around us and provide solutions to our immediate environment. If we are in a setting or society where there is lack of waste management, you can create a solution in that direction. You can provide dustbins. You can create a community clean up for every week. So that is also a contribution that young women can do towards providing solutions to climate issues. So, in summary, I would say that young women should be proactive, seek mentorship, enroll in programs and courses that foster climate solutions, and also don't work in isolation. You can team up with your friends or with your partner, create an initiative, an organization towards climate solutions as well. So these are the things that young women can do, towards providing climate solutions, to reduce the effect of climate change in their surroundings, in their communities.
So it's been an interesting and very interactive session or discussion we've had. I'm really, really happy you honored our invitation. I think the young girls out there um, will learn a lot from what you have said here today. It's really, really been a pleasure to be here with you. And thank you so much for honoring this invitation.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been so engaging and interesting for me. And I hope that people would, hear this message, and especially the young women,
Mhm.
and, create some change in the climate space. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I thank you.